Hey guys, it's Jay Sini and welcome to another episode on the Guitar Channel. So today we're going to be talking about what amp should I buy. There's a lot of different people that are in the markets for different amps, and a lot of people get really confused. They're like, oh, there's so many choices now. So when you're looking for a new amp, the first tip I can give you is to do your research online. There's so many great gear reviews online. You can hear tests, shootouts comparing a couple of different amps. So jump on the net, have a look at some reviews, have a look at what people have said about the amp, have a listen to how they sound and how they compare to different amps. There's a lot of different shootouts from different amps. So that's definitely something to check out. So the second thing, what style of music do you play? If you play country music, for example, it might be a good bet to go with possibly a Fender or a Vox or something like that that really suits those styles of tones. However, if you're playing rock and roll, a Marshall might be a good way to go. If you're playing heavy metal, maybe a rectifier or some other kind of high gain amp. So conversely, let's say you're playing country, you might find that something with a little bit more high gain actually works for you and works for your sound. So don't be completely limited to what's kind of accepted in the genre. Feel free to experiment and try different things and see how they would fit. All right, now the third thing, what sounds good to your ears? You're going to know better than anyone else in the world what you like to hear more than anything. So when you're doing your research, try not to be swayed too much by what other people are saying. You need to go with what you think's really good and maybe take on a couple of opinions that you think are very valuable to you. Let's say you're having a shootout between two amps and your friend says, oh, you really should go with this amp, it's a great amp. And you go, okay, all right, I'll get that one. And you end up getting that amp and you're just not 100% happy with it. It would be better if you go with your gut feeling on what you think is going to be great, and then you've made the decision and that's done. So the next thing to talk about, of course, is budget. Now, you can get lots of different amps, some for $100, some for $50,000. And there is a massive spectrum, but you don't need to go out and spend an absolute fortune on an amplifier. I found some great amps that are, $700, $800. You don't need to go overboard. Obviously, there's some great tones that you can get in the $2,000, $3,000 range, but it's not the be all and end all. So you want to have a distinct budget and stick with your budget. Unless you find something that you really want, then spend the time to save for that amp so you can get it. And leading on from that, is your amp going to be a good investment? Let's say you're a beginner and you're just getting started with guitar and you're not fully committed to it yet and you're just having a bit of fun. It's probably not a great idea to go out and buy a $5,000 amp. It might be better to start with just having a practice amp and getting used to it and see how that goes. And if you find yourself enjoying it more and more, then you can start to step up the money and get some better gear. But you don't always just need to go out and get the best gear straight up unless you know that you're going to completely commit to it. Let's say you're a professional guitarist and you spend a lot of time playing for other people. It's probably a good idea that you get an amp that is really, really versatile and can do a lot of different things. For myself, I got an Axe-Fx because doing a lot of session work, it means I could cover hundreds of different tones and hundreds of different amps for all the artists, so I was completely covered. So if you're a session guitarist and you do a lot of work for a lot of people, maybe it might be a good idea to invest in something like an Axe-Fx or an Axe 8. They're a little bit pricey, I think between about $3,000 and $4,000 for an Axe-Fx. However, if you bought 100 amps, that's going to cost you a lot more than $3,000 or $4,000. So it was a good choice for me. So there's just so many different choices with amps. There's Marshall amps, there's Bogner amps, there's Fenders, there's high watt amps, there's Bad Cats, there's the Axe-Fx. So many different choices that you can choose. So there you have it, guys. There's a few tips on what to do if you're in the market for a new amp. I hope you found them useful. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Jay Sini and this is the Guitar Channel.